Hi everyone, nice to see you all. My plan today is to just run through a brief warm-up with the boys. So we'll do about a 10 or 15 minute warm-up, and then we're going to do about a 15-minute speed block, and then we're going to do a 15-minute little agility or change of direction block as well. A lot of this stuff is going to be done without footballs and hurleys, because that's what I've sort of been asked to do. There will be a little bit of a really low intensity skill in there where they will be using footballs and sliders. Yeah. So yeah, like Owen said, feel free to come down if you have any questions or anything. Obviously, I'll be hanging around. You can just put your hand up and I'll give you a hand if you need to. Cool. So our first little section today is, all we're going to do is for the warm-up, it's broken into 3 sections, as you can see on a piece of paper. The first thing is just raising their heart rate a little bit, so just getting them warmed up slightly. Then they're going to go into some stretches or some exercises where they're just activating muscles that they're going to be using, and then a little bit of mobilization, so they're just moving into positions that they don't often get into, so that if they do get pushed into it in a match, that they're going to be already warmed up and it's not going to create too many issues. Perfect. Sweet, boys. So off you go. You can go for a little jog to start off with. We'll go together. So I'm just going to hang out with the boys for this first little bit. Oh, you all look fancy in your Waterford jerseys. Cool. And then around here, so into some jogging backwards, boys. Perfect. Quick step into some jogging forwards. And backwards again. How you feeling after last night? All good? Yeah, tired or not too bad? You good? Perfect. Sweet, we'll get past these cones and the poles, and then we'll start doing this activation stuff on the way over. Perfect. So, first one, boys, is just going to be our lunge with a twist. So as you know, legs 90 degrees, looking around, follow your head with your shoulder, going for 5 each leg. Spread out a little bit, you've got loads of space today. Perfect, so they're just, raise the heart rate a little bit, just turn on some muscles right now, getting them warmed up a little bit. Perfect, done them. So closing the gates, yeah, so going forwards to start with, a couple of steps, high knee, pull it back in. Yeah, really focusing on that high knee, lads. Beautiful, 5 each leg as well. Nice, lovely. Next one, so into our sumo squats. So nice and wide, hands out in front, try and get down nice and deep. Flick that leg around, and down nice and deep again. Keep your head and your chest up. Nice and slow and controlled. 5 each leg again. Good work, boys, looks good. Oh, beautiful. Into our sideways lunge. So down nice and low, shift from left to right. Flick that leg around, down nice and low. Shift from left to right. Yeah, get down as low as we can. Move those hips as far across as you can. If you feel your leg lifting off the floor, that's all good. Perfect. So once you've done 5 each side, we're just doing the opposite one. So we're closing the gate this time. A couple of steps, high knee, close the gate, or open it, whichever one you didn't do the last time. Nice, get that knee up nice and high. Yeah. Shoot that knee up. Good, boys, lovely, cool. So jogging again down here. We're just into some forward skipping. So just skipping along, you're trying to skip for distance. We're not trying to skip for height on this one. So we're trying to skip out as far as we can. Good, nice, round the corner, and then we're into our backward skipping. Same thing, skipping for distance, not skipping for height. Lovely, lovely. And quick flick round, little jog. Perfect. Then as we come around the corner, we're going into our cherry pickers, lads. So opposite hand, opposite knee, going for height. Going up as high as I can, like I'm trying to catch a sliotar, or two hands going up trying to catch a football. As high as you can, as high as you can. Explode up. Warm today. Perfect. And then we'll head back over again, doing a little bit more exercises. So first one today is going to be this reverse lunge again. So open up our hip, nice and wide, reach back, reverse lunge, push off that front leg. Open up, back in, reverse lunge, push off that front leg. Still keeping our head and chest up. Nice, boys, good work, good work. Perfect, so the boys here, they're almost like they, you can keep going, you're fine, you can keep going. Yeah, oh, so you've done 5 each. So next one, we have this reverse walk-in one. Yeah, hands up, reach down, brush the grass with your fingers, open up, going for 5 each leg again. So yeah, all we're doing really here is, it's almost like the boys are just spraying a little bit of WD-40 on all their joints, getting them warmed up, getting them into positions that they will be in matches. Looking for as high a quality as we can really when we're doing these exercises. It's not about killing them. We don't want them to be absolutely knackered before we've even started a session. So taking it nice and easy. Nice, beautiful. So into our long reverse lunge. So it's big step, yeah, and then pushing off that front leg. Big step, push off that front leg. Don't let your back knee touch the ground. Good, well done. Very nice. A 10. Yeah, perfect. So flicking around, boys, and then we're into our T Romanian deadlift. So into like an airplane, looking down at your foot, a couple of steps forward, into our T airplane, looking down at your foot. And make sure we're looking at our foot, not forward, makes it a little bit harder. Nice and control, signs, try and stay stable. Don't let that ankle wobble too much. Little soft knee on that front foot. So just a gentle, gentle bend on that front leg. Good, boys, well done, well done. Yeah, ideally on this one, when they're looking down, we should almost see like a really perfectly level line. You can see some of them, our legs are back here a little bit because we're struggling to get down rather than being all the way down in a nice T stance. But this is why they're doing it, so they can get a little bit better. Beautiful. Cool, and then into our Spider-Man crawl just towards the end, yeah? So we're down on all fours, we're looking for our knee to come up towards our elbow, crawl, knee up towards elbow, crawl, knee up towards elbow. Keeping our head up, keeping our back nice and straight, yeah, being strong in our core. Perfect, good work. Cool, so we're going karaoke down here, down the touch line. So our right leg is leading us, so our right leg is coming across our body, and then it's coming behind our body, and across. Yeah, so nice big sweeps across and behind. Once you get past the stand, you're gonna flick round, and then your left leg is leading. Perfect, flick round, left leg leading. Good, and then we're all facing this way. We're still going our karaoke, except we're nice high knee coming across. Yeah, it doesn't have to go behind you, just in front. Get that knee up nice and high. All about shooting that knee up and getting it across. Once you get to the middle of the post, swap over, and then your left leg is leading. Good, boys, well done, well done, well done. Get that knee nice and high. Lovely, and then next one we're into our karaoke, but into our quick step one this time. So it's the same thing as with our left leg leading, except this time it's gonna be nice quick steps. So I'm just, yep, left leg in front, left leg behind. Once you get about halfway across the stand, we'll swap over, so your right leg is leading. Once you get past the stand. Good, good, quick feet, quick feet, quick feet. Let's go nice and fast, nice and fast, nice and fast. It's hard one, isn't it? You're okay, fine. So it's the same as karaoke, except it's just that little bit quicker. Yeah, so instead of leg sweeping, it's just like little steps. Sweet, so let's come over here, boys. We'll jump into our big circle. So that's their raise section and then their like activation section done. So they should be nice and warm by now. Heart rate's gone up, muscles are turned on. What we're gonna do now is a little bit of dynamic stretching and some mobilization with them. So jump into our big circle, boys. Perfect. So first one, we're just rolling our necks around in a circle. 5 one way and then we'll go 5 the other. Lovely, and then down onto the ground into our back roll. To touch the grass over our head. Way over. One for 5 again. Nice, well done, well done, well done. See if we can get those legs all the way over. Get those toes touch the grass. Very nice, very here. Good work, good work. Perfect, and then on the next one, we're just rolling, we're spreading our legs. We're reaching towards you. So we pull, spread those legs, reach out towards you. Yeah, go for it, going for 5 again. Good work, well done, well done, well done. Perfect, staying on the ground. So lying on the ground, we're gonna have our arms out, we're keeping our shoulders on the floor. Bend our knees from side to side. Again, nice and slow, controlled. Yeah, tighten the core. Good, 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 well done. Nice, keep those shoulders on the ground. Good lad, good lad. Good boys, good work. Perfect, next one. Is to touch your hand. Those hands, good, good lads. Still trying to keep those shoulders on the floor. Nice, well done. So rolling over onto our front, so we're into our plank. Yeah, and then we're 2 seconds squeezing our core. Seconds, squeeze our bum and our hamstrings. Off you go. So 2 seconds, good, good, good. Roll over, explode up. Good lads. Keep your bum down, bum down. There you go. Perfect, we'll go for 5 of these again. Perfect, and then last one is our world's greatest stretch. So you've seen this one before. So our knee is out, our hand is on the floor, and then we're looking to get our elbow down towards the floor, and then we're just reaching up, following our hand with our head. Yeah, nice and dynamic now on this one. Going for 5 each side again. And if we want to make it a little bit harder, we're just lifting that back knee off the ground a tiny little bit. Yeah, good. Nice, 5 each side. Brilliant, boys, love it. Cool. So hey, you can jog over, grab a quick drink of water, and then we're gonna come into this orange rectangle over here to get into some speed work. Cool, so yeah, nothing too special really to start off with. It's just having a little bit of structure in place. So we're not absolutely running them into the ground before they've even started, but they are warm enough and they're turned on so that now when we get into some speed work, that they're good to go. One of my main takeaways today for you guys would be this speed kind of block, really. If we want lads to get faster, they have to be able to sprint at 100%. We only really have like a 10 to 15 minute window after the warm-up that they're going to be able to sprint at 100%. If we have lads sprinting at 80, 90%, then they're just never going to get faster. Yeah, so they have to be able to go at 100% to be able to increase their ceiling to get a little bit better. If you have an athlete who's running, say, a 4-second 30-meter sprint, and then every time in training he's running a 4.6, he's never going to get faster. Yeah, he has to be able to produce enough force and enough work rate to make changes in his body at 100%, so that 100% will always get a little bit higher every single time. Cool, so boys, let's jump into groups of 4 in between our orange cones, and we'll just go through our A series. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of sprinting technique with these boys. They've done some of it before, so they're actually pretty good at it now. It's 4 really basic drills that you can take into sort of any age group, really. You can develop it a little bit. Obviously, with younger kids, it's a little bit harder, but the technique will always stay the same. Our idea is that if we can get lads running properly from a young age, as they move through the ages, it's something that we don't have to teach them anymore, rather than when they become adults, trying to rewrite how they've learned how to run. So first one is just our A walk, boys. So yeah, no, you're okay, we're not sprinting just yet. So the first one, all we're looking at the lads to do is we're looking at their foot to come up over their knee. We're looking at them to strike the ground underneath their hip and getting this knee up nice and high with our opposite arm. So all they're going to do is they're just going to walk forward, thinking about how they sprint. Go for it, boys. You're going to walk. Go for it all the way to the orange cones, and then you can wait at the orange cones. So give the person in front 4 or 5 steps, and then off you go. A lot of the time with athletes, we can do this kind of stuff, and then as soon as we put them into a sprint and we say go as fast as you possibly can, all this goes out the window. Yeah, because they're just always going to revert back to what they know. But if we can make what they know really, really good from the beginning, when they start to sprint, it's going to be natural for them. Someone who's a really, really prime example, a good example is someone like Kylian Mbappe, a footballer. If you freeze frame him at any time, he is striking under his foot, his knees up nice and high, he's tracking the ball with his head. It's something that, you can stay on that, Nathan. It's not something that he was born with, it's 100% something he's learned. Sprinting is a skill. Cool, next one, boys, is going to be our march. So same kind of thing, except before we start, I just want you to think about marching as much as you can, and then we're just going to start to march all the way down to that orange thing, orange cones. Yeah, the important one here is hitting the ground as hard as you possibly can. Yeah, off you go. March, 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 hit the ground, hit the ground, hit the ground. Good, bend those knees, almost like you're trying to break glass underneath your foot. Yeah, you're trying to, good, 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 good. Really nice here at the end. Next one is going to be same movement, except all we're worried about this time is our knees going down at the same time as my leg comes up. So when we sprint, our legs should switch at the same time when we're sprinting. If there's a slight delay in the switch, it starts to affect our running a little bit. So all they're going to do is they're going to start with one knee up, and then they're just going to worry about switching at the same time. So their feet, as one foot goes down, the other one is coming up. Yeah, so starting with our knee up. Yeah, go for it, go for it, go for it. Knee up. Nice, and then off you go. All you're worried about on this one, boys, is your feet switching at the same time. Good, 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 good. That's all you're concentrating on. Slower, slower, slower. Good. Good, very nice one in here. Good as well, well done, well done, well done. All right, so it's four little drills. The first one is just worried about how we run. Next one is hitting the ground as hard as we can. This one is switching at the same time. And then this last one we're gonna do is just worried about how high their knee is coming up off the ground. Yeah, so this is the skip one, boys. So we're just gonna double skip, double skip, double skip as we go. Yeah, really worried about getting your knee up as high as you can. Off you go. Good, lovely. Yeah, so if we can create some really good foundations for these boys, we can build on top of it. it's sort of like building a house, right? If you build a house with no foundations, yeah, the house might go up, but at some point it's going to collapse and it's going to be a disaster. Whereas if we have really strong foundations and we put a house on top, if something happens to the house, our foundations are still there, so we can still be really good. Cool, we're going into some sprints here, boys. So we're just going to sprint as hard as we possibly can out to your orange cones, yeah, and then you can just hang down there for 30 seconds when you're done. Cool, as hard as we possibly can. Ready to go? Go. 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 Cool, so we've been talking about this for these. You got 20 seconds here, fine. So they're always going to get a 30-second rest in between. Yeah, like we talked about earlier, they have to be able to perform at 100% to be able to get an improvement. Once we start to see a little bit of fatigue or we see the technique break down, that's our window gone. Yeah, so that's the end of it. There's no point flogging a dead horse. There's no point killing him. Yeah, once that's done, we're good to go. Okay, ready? Go. 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 Focus on this next one, boys, is this first step forward. Yeah, still where some of us are just that little flick back with our other foot before we go forward. Yeah, so our first step, forward. Yeah, have a little go at it now. That's the one thing I want you to focus on. Your first step is forward, and then we're going as fast as we can. Ready to go? Go. 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 So in this one you're going to be spinning around, so you're going to face the other way, except you're still going to sprint this way. So we're a quick turn, here we're off around the corner. What we want to do is we want to have it as one step turn. Yeah, so I'm going to push off one leg and then I'm gone around the corner. Yeah, we don't want to make it 1, 2 and then around. One step and I'm gone. Ready? Go. 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 And go. Go. So they've done their 4 sprints. So the idea is now that they're going to have 2 minutes where they're going to do, you can come up here, boys. We're going to go into, you can stay, you're all right, just take time. Into a really low level or low intensity drill. This window of opportunity is giving us a really good chance to focus on a skill that we might not be so good at. So I'm going to get you to jump into 3s, grab a ball. I want you to stand, relative distance apart. Weak foot kicking only, and the idea is that you do not move. Yeah, so that the pass is good enough off your bad foot that we are not moving at all. So hands up, yeah, straight into their chest. Nice, so obviously we had a little slitters, some of the boys had hurleys, but we could do the same thing with hurling. We can work on our weak-hand striking, a little bit of hand passing, yeah, something that we want, like a really specific skill, but something that can be quite accurate. And yeah, at a low intensity. They're not burning too much fuel here, but they're still, they're turned on enough that they're going to be able to master and perfect the new skill. If they're tired, everything just starts to go out the window. Good boys, good work, good work. Okay, so 10 seconds and then we'll jump back into here for another set of sprints. Perfect, so first one just facing forward, same as before. Ready? Go. 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 Cool, so on this one we're going to do a couple of different starts for them. Obviously in GAA, we do run forward a lot, but a lot of the time we're running backwards or running sideways. So on this one, boys, we're all spinning around, facing the building. One step, push off that front leg, flip your hips around, and then explode out. Ready? Go. Good, that was really good, boys. Well done, well done. Go. 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 So something in there on that second group. What's the name again? Dave. So Dave might be one of the smallest here, yeah, but on that one there, he was the fastest out of the block because he turned with one step and was gone, whereas some of the other boys are kind of delaying a little bit or they're shifting on their weight to then turn, whereas Dave was real nice and quick. It was one step and he was gone. And as the sprint opened up, the boys may have caught him, but we all know that these first 5 to 10 meters is really, really important in GA. Okay, cool. So next one, down on the ground. Yeah, chest on the floor, hands off the floor. Ready, go. Go. Hands off the floor, go. Hands off the floor, and go. I'm gonna get him to do one more, and then we're gonna jump into this agility drill. Ideally, we probably would do, as you can see on a piece of paper, I probably would have done 4 sets of this. Yeah, so that's probably we're looking at, yeah, by the 3rd or 4th set that the technique's starting to break down a little bit. So that's our time to call it a day. Okay, so boys, on the ground, facing the building, same thing. So, ready, go. Good. Hands off the ground, go. You can grab some water if you want to. Hands off the ground, go. Go. So you got a little bit of rest, grab yourself some water, and then we're going to jump over here into this cone drill over here. Section of speed for him. Ideally, you would like to be a little bit longer. I probably normally wouldn't do too much change of direction or agility on the same day as doing speed. They got a little speed work in last night, so they're probably a little bit fatigued anyway. But that was perfect. That was a good job. Okay, so once you've had a drink, we'll go over to these cones over here, and we'll go in groups of 4 again. So this drill here, this drill is an amazing, amazing drill. Yeah, especially for GA, it's really, really good for a lot of sports. What they're going to do is they're going to be running figure of 8s in around some of these cones. Pretty much, the faster you run circles, the faster you are on a sports field. Yeah, generally on field sports, if you can run circles really fast, you're going to be really, really fast with field sports. So, for the first one, all they're going to do is they're going to start on one of the color cones. If you start on the green for the first one, the next time you come back around, you're going to start on the orange cone. Okay? So all you're going to do is starting on the green, and we're going to go, we're around the cones. So pick a cone, pick orange or green to start on. We'll all start on green, let's say, for the first one. Yeah, off you go. Nice, make sure you get in and out of all of them. Go. Good, good, good. Figure of 8, so in and out of the cones. Go. We're in and out like that. Yeah, not just round them. Go. Perfect, so once you've done your first one, if you started on the green, now you're swapping over to the orange cone for the next one. Yeah, so we're going from the other direction. Off you go. So this is the most basic one of it. You can go when you're ready, boys. Yeah, it's okay. I'll be talking a little bit. So just give once the person gets back, then you can go. Once you've done your 2, yeah, so 1 on each cone, we'll wait and then we'll progress it on. So what they're going to do on this one, which is super GA and sport related, is there's a pole here in front of you all. Yeah, you can see the red poles that are near your section. What you're going to do is you're going to run your figure of 8 while staring at the pole. Yeah, so you got to keep your eyes on the pole. So I'll go first. So I'm looking at the pole, I'm round, trying not to hit the cones, still looking at my pole, all the way around, back into here. Okay? Off you go. Yeah, keep your focus on the pole, keep your focus on the pole. Try not to hit your cones. Yeah, you can go when the next person comes back. And then make sure you get 2 goes onto the other color cone as well. So loads going on here. Yeah, they're trying to not look at the cones on the ground, but they need to be aware of where they are. They're focusing on the pole. Something like this, a really good example is we're tracking the ball and hurling. We're watching the ball, watching the ball, watching the ball. There's someone here, I'm moving around them, and I'm still able to catch the ball. Yeah, we want them to have a really, really stable head with everything moving underneath them. Yeah, it's almost like a bird of prey. When you see a bird of prey, their head is locked onto something, but then their body is able to like move around it. Or a dog chasing a squirrel, his head's locked on, and he's like moving in around, jumping over branches and all sorts. So there's a tennis ball on the orange cone there. There you go. So next little progression, same thing. We're going to be still focusing on the pole, still running our figure of eights, except you're going to have a tennis ball and you're going to be passing around your body as you go. Yeah, so here we go. So I'm just looking at the pole, passing the tennis ball around my body, still looking at the pole, back in here. Yeah, off you go. So adding in something every single time. Yeah, so there's a lot going on here now. They're worrying about the ball, they're worrying about the pole, they're worried about the cones as well. Brilliant, nice boys, nice, well done. Good lads, good. Nice, so what I'm going to get you to do is the last two people in the group, I want you to take a circle each. So the last two people in the group, just jump in one of the circles. Jump in one of the circles, yeah, and then can you jump in a circle as well? Okay, so this time the boys in the circle are going to be trying to block the lad's vision from the pole. Yeah, so the boys are still going to be running their figure of eights with their tennis ball, while these two lads in the circle are just going to try and get their hand over their eyes to try and block their vision a little bit. Yeah, don't start smacking each other in the face. You're still using the ball, you're still running your figure of eight, and you're still staring at the pole. Yeah, except there's someone in front of you just trying to block your vision a little bit. Ready? Off you go. Good boys, good. Well done. As fast as we can. Nice, so get your two in, and then you can swap in and out in between your in your circles. Very nice, doing great, well done. So this drill is really good for all sorts of age groups, really. You could do this with little kids, they would love it. You can make a little game out of it, like some relays. But what it's doing is it's teaching them so many different things without them really know what's going on. They've got to think loads with this. So it's a really good drill, increases their ability to learn and then to add on top of it. Okay, good to go, sweet. So last one, what I'm gonna do is, just to annoy you a little bit, I'm gonna throw some cones around, and you're gonna do the same thing, except you're not gonna be allowed to stand on it, you're trying to avoid the cones at the same time. You could use some, ideally you don't want to use balls in case they end up like rolling an ankle or something. But you could use, yeah, little bits of paper or some other cones, different things like that. Yeah, can't touch the cones now either. So you're staying in your circle. Yeah, we're still focusing on our pole. There's someone blocking your vision. Still passing the tennis ball around, and there's cones on the floor that you gotta avoid.
So you don't touch?
Don't touch the cones. Yeah. And you don't really want to look at them. Yeah. So you're trying to see what's around, like peripheral vision. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Good boys, well done. Nice, so have a couple of goes each. Yeah, make sure you go from both cones. Good, well done there. Cool, and then once you finish that, boys, you can come on over, grab a drink of water. Really nice, well done. So yeah, that's my little block. It's about 45 minutes. Yeah, ideally, probably wouldn't have put the two of them together in the same session. Probably would have either stuck with one or the other. I'd probably stick with the speed in one, and then maybe the next day working on the change in direction. But for the sake of today's demonstration, yeah, we just did both of them.
When's a good time for clubs? What age? When's a good time to maybe start doing some of this work with their players? Is under 12, 13 too soon, or is it a good time to get started? And maybe what's the progression on the next 2 years? And then we'll throw it out to the floor then after that.
Yeah, there's no age group to start athletic development. Yeah, you can throw a tennis ball at a 3-year-old and get him to try and catch it. That's athletic development. That you don't have to be doing these kind of drills to improve their athletic development. Yeah, so I would say there's any good time to start, really. It's never too late or too early. Obviously, the choice of drill will depend a little bit on your age group. But something like this, like I was saying, you can do it with kids. You can make it a relay. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. As long as they are moving, changing direction, trying to get into like some positions, doing some squats or whatever, they're going to improve. Purely because of just the fatigue. Yeah. Once they've done those sprints, ideally if I'd done a couple more sets, they're getting a little bit gassed by then. So it's going back to this, without being able to perform at 100%, we're never really going to make that improvement. Yeah, so I would like them to, I know obviously that's their first time doing that drill, so you could see they were like a little bit slower in it, but ideally this figure of 8 needs to be done as fast as possible, and the sprints are done as fast as possible. It goes back to, as soon as they drop to say like 70 or 80%, we've lost our window. That's our time has gone to improve. Also, I'd say it's the load as well. Like you want them to do enough sprints to be able to get faster. If I only did 4, they're sort of only like getting into it a little bit. Whereas once we've done our 4 sets of 4, that's 12 by 20 meters. That's 240 meters of sprinting. Like it's quite a lot, and that's plenty enough for them for that day. But I wouldn't hit a speed block day after day after day after day. They'd be too tired.
Time between the warm-up and maybe the speed drills and agility drills, how much time, say, of a 1 hour session should that occupy? Maybe say for under 12s before they go into either football drills or camogie drills, for example.
Yeah.
Or hurling.
So it depends really. Like you could do a little bit of a warm-up with ball drills as well. So it depends what you're after. I would say 20 minutes. Yeah,
thanks,
I'd say, yeah, once you do 10-minute warm-up and then 10-minute of speed or agility. What we're doing with these lads at the moment is they either get 20 minutes at the start of their session, so they get a really solid warm-up with a little bit of sprinting, or then they've done their warm-up when we come in, and then they get their technique sprinting, and then they get a full block of sprinting in as well. Yeah, it's again going back to that thing of like we only have that small window at the start before they get knackered. If we're doing sprinting at the end, it's benefiting no one at all.
When would you do the speed work, at the start or the end? I mean, you just probably answered it, but
no, at the start. Yeah, always would do it at the start after the warm up. Yeah. So yeah, like they have to be able to perform at 100% to get faster. Yeah.
Should sprint be continuous during the year, even when you're into playing season?
I would say yes. Yeah.
Keep going at it.
Yeah, I would say yeah. Maybe you could bring the load down a little bit. Yeah, so say they're doing 240 meters there, you can bring it down to say like 120 and break it into 10-meter sprints. We like that's with a 20-meter sprint there, but as we know in GAA, sometimes it's a 5-meter sprint, sometimes it's a 40-meter sprint. As we saw in the All-Ireland Club final, it was a 60-meter sprint like that last goal. So it's doing all sorts of them. You could get them in literally 5 minutes, 5 meters. So all they're doing is they're just concentrating on accelerating as fast as they can and then stopping.
We've a lot of players that will run all day, but it's always 80%. And to be able to break from that 80% into a full-out sprint is a struggle for some players. How do we build that into players that instead of just constant 80, when they have to, they can hit that at 100%?
Yeah. That's a tricky one. It's the effort. It's relaying the effort to these lads that they have to put in as much physical effort as possible. Something that I like doing a little bit is, I know we're all in a line there, but staggering them. So the person in front of you is a foot in front of you. So your aim is to catch him, and his aim is to get away from the person behind him. Right? So they're not going to run 80% when they know someone's breathing down their neck. Yeah, or the same thing, if you're trying to chase someone, you're not going to be running at 80%, you're going to be running at 100%. So that's like quite a nice one for kids to do. But yeah, it's translating the effort into the results that they can get. They need to know that to get the most results, they have to put in 100% effort. It's sort of like everything, like we teach them throughout school, like you got to put in the effort to get the results. It's the same thing with sport. And it's a process. It doesn't happen quickly. Like I was saying to Des earlier, like if you want to be a lawyer, it takes 7 years. Like if you want to be an elite sportsman, it takes a long time. It takes 15, 16 years. They're starting at 4 years old. This athletic development is beginning by just running around in the garden, hitting the ball against the wall. And then it's the time they're like 18, 19, 20, they're breaking into senior teams. But they've had 15, 16 years of this athletic development. It takes a long time. They're not going to see instant results, but they will see results over time. We know from this winter, we had these lads in the gym throughout the winter, and the difference was unbelievable. We could not believe the difference in some of them. But now, when they come back next year, we won't see that huge change again. It'll be a gradual increase. Yeah, so sometimes we see like a huge increase to begin with, and then it's nice and gentle. Once you get to the top, the difference is so small. It's like 0.01 second. We watch the sprinters in the Olympics; they're all within half a second of each other crossing the finish line. Whereas if we put these lads into a 100-meter sprint, I guarantee there'd be a big range from the last person to the first person. Oh yeah, something else I was just briefly going to mention about is pain a little bit. If lads are talking about pain, it's not probably something that we should be like encouraging them to push through. Maybe if it's like a bruise or a little knock, it's okay. But if they're continuing with pain and they're training with pain, they're going to start to get imbalances. Muscles will turn on and joints will start to work to compensate for the stuff that isn't working. So it's really important that if they are saying they're a little bit sore, that we're not still running them into the ground, basically. That'll be my huge takeaway from today is we're gone past the days of just killing lads. Like, how often do we run 20 laps in a game of hurling? Never. How often do we make a 5-meter sprint and a burst for the ball with a change of direction and then a little skill? 100 times. Yeah, so what's the point in us running 50 laps to get them fit when they're never going to be doing a continuous pace in a game of hurling where they're just running, or a game of football where they're running around? Yeah? They're breaking for the ball, they work, there's a break in play, there's a free, there's a water break, they're having a little rest for 30 seconds to a minute so that the next time they're able to, again, produce that result at 100%. Everything's got to be explosive and fast, especially on these field sports, and especially the GAA.
Joey, I just have a couple of quick questions there I wouldn't mind asking, right? And first, you've been brilliant with your time. Is there any good kind of websites or resources that you would kind of steer club coaches towards that they might find kind of beneficial, that are kind of, I suppose, user-friendly, or that might be kind of helpful for club coaches who are just looking to get a little bit more information on this area?
Yeah, there's obviously the internet's absolutely full of stuff. There's so much stuff out there. It's being aware of what you're looking for a little bit. Like if you can focus on the demands of your sport, right? So swimming has a different demand in GA, but like we talked about today, these little changes of direction, things like that. If you're looking up online and you start to see little drills that could be used like within your demands or what you're trying to get out of your players for your sport, then I would say just try them and like give it a go. I'd be wary of just like scrolling the internet. There's a lot of stuff out there that is not good stuff. Yeah, it might look good. Some guy on one leg on a Swiss ball doing a shoulder press while cleaning his teeth, but it's no benefit of anything, right? It looks great, but keep it simple. Do the basics right, and we'll get there for sure. You know, there's a couple of lads out there. There's a guy called Cal Dietz and also Les Spellman. There are two lads who. Cal Dietz is an American guy. He's sort of like American football guy, but there's a lot of knowledge. And then Les Spellman is a speed person. You don't have to be a professional coach to be able to coach, or to be able to coach these things. You just have to have like a basic understanding of it, and choosing appropriate drills.
When you see club coaches maybe coaching or whatever, like, is there kind of common mistakes that you see club coaches make in S&C terms? Because obviously not every club is going to have an S&C coach available to them, and maybe they'll do some of that side of things themselves. I suppose, is there anything that you see club coaches doing that they think is the conventional wisdom, or is they think the way that they should be doing things when probably they should try and steer away from that?
Yeah,
If you wouldn't
sure.
mind talking about it.
The main one would be is killing the lads. Yeah, like we still think that you got to work hard to get good results. You got to be absolutely dead for 2 days after your training session. Go home like barely walking off the pitch like that. That's not what we want from these lads, like at all. They're 14, 15, 16 years old. Like if we think they're not fit enough now, then there's something seriously wrong. These lads are playing sport 4, 5, 6 days a week. Like, believe me, they are aerobically fit for sure. Yeah, what they're not really good at is they're not really good at sprinting or these like really like explosive fast movements. So that's something that we should really concentrate on. My biggest thing would be the rest time. Even if we're doing sprints, we're like, well, they'll do one and then they're like straight into another, straight into another, straight into another, and then that's it. They're gassed, and then our window is gone. But we're still making them do the sprints. Yeah. So my biggest takeaway would be make sure we get enough rest time in. There's a little example on the sheet there of depending how long the drill is, depends on how long your rest time should be. So yeah, that would be a big one. Another one for me is what do we think like strength and conditioning is? You say strength and conditioning to people and they think like, oh yeah, weightlifting, like you got to be really strong, and conditioning, you got to be able to run for 10 miles. Like it's no benefit of anyone. Yeah, we got to think about we're being strong and conditioned for the demands of our sport. Yeah, the boys' demand for the sport isn't to squat 200 kilos or to be able to bench press 120 kilos, but their demand for the sport is being able to get to the ball first. Yeah, be strong when they have the ball, be able to take a shoulder and change direction strongly, things like that. So it's being aware of the conditioning that you want for the demands of the sport and the strength that you want for the demands of the sport as well. It's not all the same. Every sport's a little bit different.
Joey, look, thank you so much for the session. You've been absolutely brilliant with your time, and like over the last few weeks, Joey has put a huge amount of work into preparing for this session. You can even see that in the sheets that you would have received. So if you wouldn't mind giving Joey just a big round of applause there.